Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I've got a headline about Circle, and that's going to be it for today. We do have some data that is coming out a little bit later, and then we're going to focus on some trading. So, if you got some assets you'd like me to take a look at, go ahead. Throw them in the chat now. I will get them added to the list. And then we'll spend most of the show looking at some assets. I see a few people in the chat already. Let's say good morning to you. We got K Diggity in here dropping that first and the coffee cup. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're getting prepped for some success today. We've got Junior Emmer. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name there, but good morning to you. He says he's second in the chat. We've got Darren Does Things in here as well. K Diggity, I'm last. Lol. Good morning to you, sir. Do you think we're dumping? Well, we will get into that in just a second. I do have some lower levels I've been looking at. We'll just kind of have to take a look at that chart here in a second. I do have that stock heat map pulled up like always, and let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today. We are seeing a little bit of some light buying pressure coming on this morning. We've got Apple sitting down 0.22 off of its close, sitting up 0.14% this morning. We've got Nvidia up 0.5%. Seeing some light selling pressure this morning, down 0.04. Got Berkshire Hathaway down 1.37 off of its close. Looking to the upside this morning with some light buying pressure, up 0.14. We've got Amazon up 0.74 off of its close. Seeing some decent buying pressure this morning though, up 0.56. We've got Eli Lilly up 2.01% off of its close. In the pre-market, continuing to see some light buying pressure, up 0.14. We've got ExxonMobil down 1.45 off of yesterday's data on crude oil. It is sitting up 0.31% this morning though. We've got Tesla sitting down a whopping 3.55%, and the pre-market continuing to see some decent sell-off, down 1.66% right now. We've got P&G down 0.54, seeing some light buying pressure though, up 0.21% this morning. We've got Microsoft remaining quite neutral as it was yesterday, up 0.19 off of its close and up 0.07 this morning. We've got Google sitting up 1% off of its close, and this morning also looking in the green, up 0.31. To wrap that on out, we've got Meta sitting up 3.16%, and in the pre-market continuing to see that buying pressure, up 0.37. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things, because we are looking a little bit red on that daily. Scrolling on down so we can get that better viewpoint. That hourly looking a little bit green right now, but that daily sitting quite solidly red, down 0.6 on Bitcoin. We've got Ethereum down 8%. We've got XRP down 2.3%. We've got BNB remaining quite neutral on both the hourly and the daily. 0% change on that daily, up 0.1% on the hourly. We've got Solana down 2.5%, Doge down 3.4%. Tron looking a little bit green on the daily and a little bit red on the hourly, up 0.3% right now. Cardano down 2.8%. We've got Hyperliquid down 3.2%. SWE sitting down 2.8%. We've got Chainlink down 4.4%. Avalanche sitting down 5%. We've got Stellar Lumen sitting down 3.2% right now. Leo token remaining quite stable as that exchange token, up 0.3% with 0% change on that hourly. TON taking that position from Bitcoin Cash in the market cap, up 1.3% right now, while Bitcoin Cash is sitting down 1.8%. We've got Shiba Inu sitting down 2.1%, and to wrap that top 20 out, we've got HBAR sitting down 3.3%. On our fear and greeds for the morning, we do have the stock side ticking up just a little bit, up 6 points, still sitting in some light greed for the crypto side of things. As I was saying, we'd probably make that move kind of like the stocks did, back down to some light greed. We're sitting at 57 and some light greed right now after a little bit of some sell-off on the alts. I do have some lower levels, so we'll kind of have to see if we can drop back down just a little bit, sweep up some of that liquidity that's on the bottom side. As you can see right here, it's all sitting directly underneath us, starting at about $104,000 and ranging all the way down here to about $103,500. So we've got quite a bit of liquidity to the bottom side to really sweep, kind of continue to cool off some of those higher time oscillators, and then really see if we can get that pushback towards the upside and all of that top side liquidity. You do have a little bit of liquidity sitting directly above us as well, $106,000 ranging all the way up to about $106,200, with a little bit of a gap before you see that next batch of liquidity at about $106,750. Zoom this on out, take a look at that 3-day to see where any explosive move might take us, and that's where you can kind of see we're sitting directly on top of that bottom side liquidity at $104,000, with our top side liquidity sitting at about $107,600 there. Zooming on out just a little bit further, 2 week still looking quite nice for a pump towards the upside if we can really sweep that bottom side liquidity. We've been talking about it all week, really waiting to see us sweep that liquidity. Might see it off of some data today. Let's hop over to that economic calendar real quick and say good morning to the rest of the people that are in the chat this morning. We do have some import-export data coming out of the United States this morning at 8:30 Eastern Time. I'll be watching that. Not a massive market mover, as we are still sitting at a giant gap on our imports versus exports. Scroll it on down just a little bit further, and we've got a few more Fed chairs speaking today. Fed Kugler at noon Eastern Time and Fed Harker at 12:30 Eastern Time. Scrolled on down just a little bit, and for that Asia trading time zone today, we've got household spending month over month and year over year. I will be watching that this evening as I try to take some trades, because we are looking at a massive decrease on that month over month for their spending, but that year over year has come down quite heavily from that 2.1%, looking at 1.4% on that forecast. So heading in the right direction on that year over year, but that month over month is still a little concerning for them. We will hop into the rest of the data as we get into the rest of the week. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart and say good morning to the people. We got EU rate cut could dump Euro and pump BTC. Most definitely. I have been watching that. Haven't really talked about it just yet, but I've definitely been keeping my eye on that, because they are looking like they're going to hit another rate cut. They are ahead of us in our rate cutting cycle. Kind of weakens their dollar, brings a little bit of strength to our dollar, and we normally see a little bit of some pump on those more risk on assets when you see a little bit of weakening in some dollars. So we will take a look at that a little bit later a little bit later in the week. We have some time to kind of watch that. Let's see. We got Darren Does Things in here as well, saying I forgot I had emojis, dropping some of those holy balls emojis. We've got Jay Violet in the chat. Good evening to you. Hope you're having a great day. K Diggity saying oil to zero. I would not like that. Everyone complains about the price of oil, but the price of oil going to zero would cause a lot more problems than it would fix. What I'm hearing is bet my house on a short. Oh my goodness. I would not say that. I would wait for a bear market, bet against my house on it going up. Let's see on Euro. Euro moving up to set up for a dump on Euro. We can definitely take a look at that asset a little bit later. Actually, let me get that one added on the list. We can take a look at the euro. I follow those currencies quite a bit. Let's get it added on the list. Any other assets anyone would like me to take a look at, go ahead, throw them in the chat, and we will take a look at them. I see Kyle Fields in here as well. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day. And I see DeFi Ant and Crypto Billy as well. Good morning to both of you. I see Ray Cross becoming a member of the alumni. Good morning to you. If you have not linked your YouTube to Discord, go ahead, check out our Discord. It's part of that membership there. You get a DCA strategy. You get a lot of one-on-one classes with the members here at the Piper Academy. And then you get a lot of trade signals from people like JR, Lunar Beaches. We've got OC dropping trade signals in there. And then we've got a whole TradFi section as well. So we do quite a bit in the Discord. Go ahead and check that out. I believe that link was dropped by Jay Violet. Yep, dropped by Jay Violet up. If you scroll up in the chat, let's hop into this Bitcoin chart real quick, and then we'll dive on into that article and take a look at some assets people want to take a look at. I will add ADA to the list as well, because I see Billy in here, and he always likes taking a look at some ADA, and ADA made some moves quite close to what I was looking at yesterday. We did see a little bit of a rejection off of that golden pocket like I'd been talking about. You've got Bitcoin remaining quite nicely under that $106,000 mark that we had been talking about. Still looking for a little more cool off here on the daily. Let's scroll this MACD down just a little bit, get our demonstration tool pulled up, and this is where you're starting to see just a little bit of sideways momentum coming in here on the MACD. I am looking for that bottom side sweep still under the 50% Fibonacci on our extensions. That's coming in at about 103,300. If you remember that liquidation heat map, we've got a lot of liquidity in that area. There's quite a bit of liquidity that has stacked up to the bottom side, and I'm looking for that nice bottom side sweep before we can really get that pushback up to that $106,000 mark, where we really saw all of this resistance on our higher term time frames. We did get a little bit of some wicking action to the top side. Most of that was a liquidity sweep. We still have this strong support at 102,500 that I've been watching to kind of hold up for. If we don't hold that up, we still have that fair value gap right below us that I'd really look to kind of fill at least half of before we see some nice strong money flow coming in at that nice psychological level and $100,000. That's that mid mark of our fair value gap there. We do have volume still slowing down here on the higher term time frame, but money flow looking quite nice. So if we can at least maintain some of that positive buying pressure as volume continues to slow down, it does bode well for a nice little increase of volume after we sweep that bottom side liquidity and then try to get that push back up. We'll kind of have to see what happens as we get back down to this bottom side liquidity though. Let's zoom this on in, take a look at that 4 hour, and that 4 hour looking a little cooled off here. We did talk about that yesterday and the day before that. Need to see a little bit of some cool off. Got some nice sideways momentum here on our MACD as we're looking at a bit of some curvature back towards the upside. We'll kind of have to see if that comes in with some money flow, because that money flow still sitting quite red here on the 4 hour. Volume has started to pick up just a little bit, but with that volume picking up and that money flow continuing to be red, it does look like that volume pickup has been some sell-off. So we'll kind of have to see what kind of holdup we get as we get to some bottom side levels. Let's scroll this on in to that 1 hour time frame and see what we're looking at on the hourly and what we might get for the day. You do have that MACD, which has crossed our indicator line towards the upside, but we're still sitting below that zero line. Our money flow is green, but it is not heavily green here. So we'll kind of have to watch to see if we get some of this money flow here on the short-term time frame that really bleeds into the 1 hour, because we are still looking at some lower highs and some lower lows throughout this range. We'll kind of have to see if that 15-minute gives us that nice little push to break above that 105, 200, where we made that very strong top side resistance here, very equal candle bodies. That's that breaking point that we would need to get above on a shorter term time frame to get that push back up to $106,000. If we do bump up against that and continue this downward trend, it might be a little bit of some slow moves back down towards our liquidity, allow those oscillators to really cool off on the daily and continue to cool off on the 4 hour. If it does it slow enough, we might see that weekly kind of stable out just a bit. That's something I've been watching because we are starting to see some curvature to the downside on the weekly. I don't want to see that really get that strong curvature back down on that higher term time frame. I would like to see that slow cool off here, grab the bottom side liquidity, and then try to make for that push back towards the upside here. This 15-minute and the morning looking like we might break into some positive money flow here. That red money flow line is sitting right at the zero line as we're starting to see that increase of volume as well. The prime oscillator and your MACD both pointing a little bit to the upside here, and we're waiting to see if we can break that 105 200 mark here. That's probably going to be a little bit of a resistance point as you are starting to see a little bit of sideways momentum on your MACD, and that prime oscillator also looking like you might start to see that reversal signal flash a little bit here this morning as you're starting to print a little bit of a red candle here, trying to see if we can continue to cool off just a bit and really watch that short-term time frame money flow to kind of push back in and get that stronger push towards the upside. Remember, there's quite a bit of liquidity sitting underneath us right here on that 24 hour, and that higher term time frame has it ranging all the way down to about that 102 500 mark. Fell a little bit short of that, but that 102 500 would be that area I would look for some strong support if we continue to grab bottom side liquidity. I'm not seeing any oscillators or any assets asked for in the chat, but we can definitely take a look at anything anyone wants to see. We've got Euro on there, we've got ADA on there as well. Go ahead, drop some assets in there. We can take a look at everything. Got dropping all those emojis by Crypto Billy. If you got them, go ahead, drop them in the chat. Darren does things saying, "Where's Jesse?" Jesse has been sleeping quite a bit. He got his sleep schedule all messed up. I noticed that when I got back from Vegas, that Jesse has been sleeping in quite late, waking up in the afternoon. His son's schedule is a little bit different though. So I was on a video call with him in Vegas, and it was like almost 10 p.m. his time, and the sun was still out. I was like, maybe this is why you don't sleep, sir. You get like 4 hours of darkness, and that probably messes with his sleep schedule quite a bit. Let's hop over to my news article for the day. I was looking at Circle, and we've been getting a lot of news off of it, as it is supposed to be getting an IPO here quite soon. Before this IPO, though, it has raised $1.1 billion already. I will be watching for that to drop, and I will let you know when we get that confirmation of the actual date of release. So, Circle Internet Group and some of its shareholders raised nearly $1.1 billion in an upsized initial public offering that was priced above a marketed range, in a sign that stablecoin issuers are winning greater acceptance. The firm and backers, including co-founder and chief executive Jeremy Allaire, sold 34 million shares Wednesday for $31 each, according to a statement confirming an earlier Bloomberg News report. The pricing gives Circle a market valuation of $6.9 billion based on outstanding shares listed in its filings, accounting for the employee stock options, restricted share units, and warrants. The company would be fully diluted valuation of about $8.1 billion. The offering comes as stablecoins, digital tokens that are often pegged to the dollar or another currency, are poised to be regulated by legislation currently in front of Congress, a development that may confer greater perceived legitimacy on them. It may also draw in competitors, with some Wall Street's largest banks jointly exploring whether to issue their own stablecoins, the Wall Street Journal reported last month. Circle's USDC had about 29% of the stablecoin market at the end of March, according to the filing, citing data from CoinMarketCap. There was about 61 billion worth of the token in circulation as of May 29th. And I will continue to watch this quite closely. I know Piper has brought it up quite a bit as well. Gonna ride that momentum of an IPO. Circle is one of the bigger stablecoins out there, and to see it launch a stock would be a nice opportunity to hop on. I will play my normal IPO game, buy at the beginning, sell at some tops, and then wait to buy back in once we create a floor. We will continue to watch Circle quite closely here, and the other crypto IPOs that will be coming out this year. Schlong, BTC, London, Orb right now. Wish me luck, says JR. Well, good luck to you, sir. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Let's see. K Diggity. Amen, Darren. I try to get 8, and if I could get 6, that's okay. But it's not good consistently aim for less and get even less than that. It's a downward spiral. Yeah, I've kind of been in the same boat ever since getting back from Vegas. I've averaged about 5.5 hours of sleep. So it's been a little bit rough getting back. My sleep schedule's all messed up. I thought I'd be okay getting back, but I was staying up till like midnight in Vegas, which is like 2 a.m. my time, and it's got me all kinds of messed up there. So hopefully I can get back to it soon. Hopefully everyone else can start getting some sleep too. Even in the UK, summertime sun goes down late. I got blackout blinds in my bedroom because of that. See, and I'm sitting more a little bit closer to the equator, so we get decently even sunlight. I couldn't imagine going through that. I got some buddies that live in Alaska that during the summer kind of hate their lives. They get like 2 hours of darkness, and they say it really messes with them. So hopefully you can get that sleep schedule maintained there. Let's see. Yeah, Billy, I've seen a few good podcasts with that renowned sleep expert. 6 to 7 gives you at least 3 hours REM, which is usually sufficient to recovery. Yeah, I get like an hour of I get like an hour or two of REM sleep. So, yeah, I have not been doing very well. 3 REM cycles is perfect. I've heard that as well. Most definitely, we will kind of have to. Well, I'm kind of hoping when I'm wealthy, I can get that better sleep schedule again. All right, let's take a look at gold here on the daily. We are breaking above that area I had watched for some potential resistance. Looks like we might get that push back up towards 3,430. The daily still does look like it's seeing a little bit of sideways momentum here. So we'll kind of have to see if we can break above this, we are creating a higher low here. So potential of that continuation to make a new all-time high on gold if we can see that money flow coming back in. Daily still looking a little sideways though. So we'll watch these shorter term time frames like we have been on some of the altcoins and on Bitcoin. Scroll this on in, take a look at that 1 hour, and this 1 hour is getting that strong move up. Prime oscillator still sitting light red as money flows starting to come back in here on the hourly. So we'll kind of have to see what kind of price action we get at that 3,430 mark. If that's going to be some resistance, really tap on this trend line here that I was watching and then get that stronger move back up towards our all-time highs on gold. We have cooled off those oscillators quite a bit with all of this sideways momentum since making that all-time high. Got that strong push off of our 50% line on our fib retracement and are now sitting above the 236 here. So really waiting to see what kind of money flow comes back in as our volume is starting to increase here on the hourly. Let's see. We've got Aiko in here. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day. I'm not seeing any alt requests or any other TA requests. Go ahead, drop them in the chat. I've got about 15 minutes, and I've got 2 assets that have been requested. I was taking a look at Reddit here. I've been talking about Reddit since last year when it IPO'd, and it's been doing quite well. Got that nice strong pullback from all-time highs to that 236, found some support there, closed out our CME gap, and is now kind of ranging above our 382 here. We do see some strong resistance at the 50% line on our Fibonacci retracement. That's coming in at about $133. Have been buying the lows here. I bought the lows back here last week while I was right before Vegas, and really kind of waiting to see if we get that continuation back up towards the 50% line. If we do break above that 50% line, I'm going to throw a little more cash at it and ride that back up towards that golden pocket. Nice little play there. I've been really happy with Reddit. They've got the reserves in Bitcoin and Ethereum, so they are making some moves in the crypto space. I see Moondag and Ethereum requested, so Ethereum, we'll get that on the list, and Moondag as well. We can take a look at both of those. I see French Toaster here. Good morning to you. Let's see. You are wealthy. You have true wealth, bro. Maybe not financial wealth, but true wealth is upon you. And see, that's more what I talk about, the financial wealth side of things. I'm still a little bit young and I'm still in that grind mode. So I'm okay losing a little bit of sleep while I try to grind this on out, get back to where I was. Have that more financial security, so I feel a little bit safe to kind of slow it down just a little bit. But until then, it is grind mode, grind mode, grind mode. I have been kind of burning the candle at both ends, and eventually we'll slow it back down. Let's see. We had a few alt requests and we had a request for the euro. So let's pull up that US dollar euro pair, scroll it on out towards a higher term time frame here. And as you can see, the US dollar euro pair is trading between our platinum pockets and our golden pockets here. Euro has been losing the US dollar has been losing a little bit of some strength against the euro, but this platinum pocket is a very strong point to kind of watch for. That's that 83-cent point. Kind of waiting to see that money flow switch up quite heavily, as if you look at this one, money flows extremely in the red on the pair. So kind of waiting to see if we can find that strong support down here at the platinum pocket all over again, and then kind of reverse trend. This would be kind of in line with the rate cut as well. So watching for that strong support at about that 86-cent point to really push back up towards our 50% line on our fibs. That's about that 93-cent point where we saw all of this resistance here, all of the resistance here as well. Let me get that pulled up. There we go. Resistance there on the 50. So really waiting to see us get back towards the upside there. We are waiting on that rate cut. We are still cooling down these higher term time frame oscillators. Let's zoom that on out towards the weekly so you can get a better view here. A lot of sideways momentum. We've been moving sideways below the 382, held up the golden pocket quite nicely for a while before we really got that stronger dip down. With all of the tariff nonsense that's been coming out of our current administration, but that platinum pocket has held up quite nicely. So waiting for that platinum pocket touch all over again as you start to see this sideways momentum coming in here on both the MACD and your prime oscillator here as we start to approach that platinum pocket all over again. Kind of in line with some of what Darren Does Things was talking about there. Waiting to really see that strength come back in on the pair. That euro see a little bit of some weakness. This is the US dollar compared towards the euro. So when you see it go a little low, that's the euro being strong against the dollar. When you start to see that make its way back up, that's that dollar gaining some strength against the euro. All right, let's hop over to ADA. Take a look at that one because it hit quite in line with some of what we were looking at yesterday. Let's zoom this back on out. Take a look at that daily all over again. Daily still kind of sitting at that same point we were looking at yesterday. We're finding very nice support towards the bottom side at about that 66-cent point. We did see that golden pocket be our resistance like we had talked yesterday. We got some nice sideways movement here underneath the golden pocket as we cool off this higher term time frame oscillator. Starting to really see that sideways momentum coming in here on the MACD, and your prime oscillators stand towards the bottom after it's clipped out very hard here. So really waiting to see that money flow come back in. Volume still decreasing here on the daily, but we're finding that nice strong support back down towards the bottom side and that 66-cent point. We do need to get above the golden pocket and 70 cents though. Let's zoom this on in. Take a look at that hourly, see what the day might be bringing our way here. Looking quite similar to what Bitcoin was looking like. We did make very equal lows with our with our sideways momentum from over here, making that nice, strong, equal low. We've got about 68 cents being that point to kind of break towards the upside, as we're seeing all of that being some nice selling pressure. We're seeing a very, very big wicks towards the top side here, which indicates quite a bit of selling pressure stepping on in as volume continues to be quite low here. Really waiting on that money flow switch as well. You've got a nice sideways momentum here on both the prime oscillator and your MACD. So kind of waiting to see if we can break some of those key levels, get back up towards all of the liquidity that would be up here above the golden pocket. We'll kind of have to see if today's data drops will get that push back towards the upside there. Zooming on in, take a look at that 15-minute and what the morning might be bringing our way, and that's where it kind of looks quite similar to Bitcoin as well. You did get that nice hold up above on the top side of our indicator line here on the MACD, but it does look like it is rolling over here. You've got two bearish divergences stacked up on your prime oscillator with our second reversal signal flash. Your volume's holding quite nicely, but seeing a little more cool off to grab bottom side liquidity before we get that stronger push up might be the thing to watch for, especially with all of the curvature here, all of the curvature here as well, and all of the liquidity that was sitting directly to the bottom side on Bitcoin. Looking like we might see that bottom side liquidity on ADA sitting under 65 cents here. So a little bit of an area to kind of watch for on ADA, for a little bit of some hold up if we are not able to hold up that 65 cent point. I would kind of watch for 62 cents like we had talked about yesterday. Orb says so, and charts and stuff and things for an intraday or maybe longer perspective. I think French Toaster asking if we're bullish this morning. I don't know about bullish for the morning. I would look more a little bit later in the day to kind of potentially see if we can sweep all of the bottom side liquidity first and then get that strong push back towards the top side. We've got that resistance on Bitcoin coming in at about $106,000. We've got very strong support right below us at 102,500, with a lot of liquidity sitting in that zone between 103, I believe it was 800, all the way down to that 102, 800. So about $1,000 price point where we're seeing quite a bit of liquidity stacked up. That was ADA. Let's take a look at ETH real quick, and then hopefully we got some time for Moondeg for JR. Let's scroll this on out towards that higher term time frame again. Take a look at the 4 hour here and see what we might be looking at for the next couple of days. We are sitting at a crucial point here on both the MACD and our prime oscillators, as that MACD looks like we might be crossing back towards the bottom side of our indicator line here. We have seen these oscillators cool off quite a bit. Money flow looking like it's rolling over as well, as volume has started to slow up. We do have this fair value gap that is sitting right here as well. Top side being that $2,140 point. Don't know if we get that low exactly, but we do have a lot of liquidity in this range. Anyone that set a long here would be setting their stop loss right there, looking for a little bit of some hunt to the downside if we do see that bottom side liquidity grab on Bitcoin as well. You've got that prime oscillator with some hidden divergences that have stacked up, sitting in the red here, getting that rollover as money flow is rolling over too. Let's take a look at that 1 hour, see what we're looking at there. 1 hour looking like it has cooled off just a little bit, but you've got that strong resistance at, I believe that's the 50 on our fib extension. Yep, that's the 50 on our fib extension, coming in at about $2,750. You can see that's been resistance here. It's been resistance here. You get a little bit of wicking action to the top side. That'd be more of a liquidity grab from anyone that set their stop losses right above those points. And then you got that nice big cool off here. 1 hour does look like it. You could see that curvature back up if you see our money flow coming back in. We will be watching that money flow on that 15-minute to kind of see if we can get that nice little switch. Prime oscillator still sitting in the red here as volume continues to slow down, and money flow is in the red. Let's zoom this on in. Take a look at the 15-minute and the morning, and that 15-minute and the morning looking quite similar to what we've looked at on these other assets. And getting that curvature back down here on the MACD. Prime oscillator still pointing towards the upside, but that money flow looking like it's rolling over again. Volume's holding up quite nicely, but looking like that volume might be some selling pressure here. You do have a lot of liquidity to the bottom side here on the short-term time frame, so seeing that nice little cool off of our oscillators as we grab some liquidity might be something to watch for the morning. I would look below about 2,000 up 600, and we've got that nice strong area of resistance from back here being $2,548. So a little bit of a zone to the bottom side to kind of see if we can hold up on our shorter term time frame, as we are getting that rollover here on the 15-minute and the 15-minute here as well on the prime oscillator, starting to print a very nice sized red candle there. Let's hop over to Moondeg, see what we're looking at there. I will have to get it pulled up here and see which one we had looked at yesterday. Moondeg, let's see, I believe we looked at it on Binance. Moondeg, let's see. Do I not have that spelled right? Moondeng. There we go. All right. I believe it was on Binance. Yep, that it was on Binance. We looked at that at. And look, came in as some resistance that we had talked about yesterday. That 20-cent point being very strong resistance, looking like we're breaking below the 50% line on our fib retracement here. Let's zoom this on out towards a higher term time frame, see what we might be looking for to see where we might find some support. We do have a bit of an area below us at about 16.9 that we could find some support at. That's where we saw these very, very equal wicks. Probably a little bit of liquidity coming in. We'll say that's 17 cents there. There might be a little bit of liquidity underneath that line, so to see some wicking action below it to really sweep that liquidity before we get that stronger pushback up would be something to watch for. 1 hour MACD and prime oscillator moving quite sideways here. Money flow coming out extremely hard. Prime oscillator back to red. You got a little bit of some sideways momentum here with our MACD and indicator lines, but looks like that MACD line's about to break towards the bottom side of our indicator line here on the hourly. Not looking too nice for Moondeg right this second, but might see that support coming back in here at about 17 cents. Let's zoom this on in, take a look at the 15-minute and see what the morning might be bringing our way. You do have the potential for a hold up at about 18.5 cents as well. That's where we saw that wick in action here. Let's make that a thinner line so we can see that's shorter term time frame, and breaking below that 50% line, 15-minute oscillators looking like it might be a little bit bearish here as well, as we're breaking below that indicator line. money flow's been solidly red for quite a while, and volume has been maintaining quite nicely. So nice solid volume, as we've been seeing that dip into the red, indicates quite a bit of selling pressure. This would have been a very nice point for a short. Might start to look at some cool off back down here at about that 18-cent point. See if we can get that nice little pop up. If not, looking back down towards about 17 cents for that very strong cool off on both the 15-minute, the 1 hour oscillators. And then let's take a look at the 4 hour oscillator there, see what we're looking at. 4 hour also looking like it might need a little more cool off. So looks like it's quite in line with some of what you're talking there, JR. I have limits at 18 and 16.8. So very strong price points coming in right about where I'm talking about. It is 5:29 and almost time for that morning motivational video. So let me get that hopped over. There we go. Thank you for everyone that's tuned in today. Make sure to tune into the rest of the shows on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. OC's been doing an amazing job taking over for Piper as Piper gets moved to his new house. We've got Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're learning the charts, you need some refreshers, you want to have a little bit of fun in the evenings, make sure to tune in to Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We've also got Markets After Dark at 11 p.m. Eastern Time for all of you late night folk that like to stay up extra late, continue to trade all day long. Other than that, I will see y'all in the chats today. I will be busy at work, so I will chat when I can. Make sure to wake up because today is going to be a good day.